Gervonta Tank Davis. Let Shakur Stevenson. Devin Haney know y'all ain't built like that, bro. Should Gervonta Davis be on the undercard of Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez? Bud Crawford thinks so. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, turn on your notifications. Catch me live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. We also live Sunday mornings with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats when you come by the live streams and the videos that we do. And hit me up if you want to debate. The email address is knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. Let's get it cracking, though. So, Terence Crawford was asked about Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson being on his undercard. He says that would be dope. I think Tank is too cocky to be on Terence Crawford undercard because he think it'll be the Tank Davis show. That wouldn't be dope for Tank Davis to fight anybody on anyone's undercard. That would be somebody being on dope that don't understand how the fuck the business of boxing works. This stacking card shit that Turkey Island Sheik does, great. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy the fights on there, some of the stat cards that he has. But when you think of the two biggest names in the sport of boxing, Canelo Alvarez and Tank Davis, it makes no sense for them to be on the same card ever because they bring too much money into the sport of boxing. You're hurting the sport of boxing by putting them on the same card because you make more money with 2 pay-per-views and 2 live gates with more sponsors for 2 different big mega fights than you would with just putting them on the same goddamn card. Tank versus Shakur specifically is one of the biggest fights in boxing. It is a fight that is going to pop off because the recipe for Tank Davis, it has everything except one. Fighting when Tank Davis for a huge mega fight, talk shit before the press conference, have him amped and have his opponent amped where they going back and forth. That shit's crazy because Tank Davis's aggression met by somebody else talking shit to him makes for an outstanding press conference. Outstanding build up to the fight. Got to have fans believe in the fighter, that the fighter can beat Tank, that Tank is vulnerable, that he has a chance to lose, so that all his haters will tune in and buy the fight, and the traffic for the fight will go up that way. And then last but not least, you want to have somebody that's maybe from a different ethnicity if you can, because Tank Davis has the Black American fan base on lock already. You put him in there with a Latino that also meets the criteria of a shit talker and the criteria of someone that fans believe in, it's going to pop off. Go look at the numbers for the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight, and that'll give you an idea that Shakur meets all of that criteria except for one, which is he's a Black American fighter like Tank is a Black American fighter, but Tank and Shakur doesn't belong on anyone's undercard. Nobody's undercard, bro. That is a major fight that needs to happen separately where there are other things under that undercard. You know what I mean? Canelo and Crawford is big enough to where the undercard doesn't fucking matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Crawford is bugging with that shit. It wouldn't be dope. It would be Turkey Island Sheik being on dope. It would be Tank Davis's team and Al Heyman being on dope to allow Tank and Shakur to happen on somebody's undercard. That shit would be crazy. Now, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda, that makes sense on the Crawford and Canelo undercard. Shakur Stevenson versus any opponent that's in the last fight of his his deal that he has with Matchroom. Again, Shakur is claiming he only has 1 fight left on his Matchroom deal. I'm told it's at least 2 or 3. We'll see if I'm right, see if I'm wrong. And if Shakur is capping in line, we'll know very, very soon once his next fight is announced. And that starts coming up and people start asking him the free agent questions. And then ultimately he decides what he's going to do in free agency. If he is free agent, we'll figure all that shit out when the time comes. But Tank Davis is too big of a name to be on anyone's undercard, bro. He's the biggest star in American boxing, right? Canelo is the biggest star in the sport of boxing right now. And to put them two together is crazy, bro. It's just Bud taking a shot at Tank. That's really all it is, right? Because him and Tank don't like each other. So he's trying to float the idea of you lesser than me. Let's show you put you on my undercard. That would be great if you wasn't so cocky. When in reality, Bud Crawford is even cocky to consider that, because when we just talk about you and Tank, number one, he wouldn't be on your undercard. That'd be on Canelo's undercard. Number two, y'all pale in comparison. When we talk about these two fighters compared to each other, Bud Crawford is far more accomplished. He has to be higher on your pound-for-pound list right now, considering Tank Davis's performance against Lamont Roach. The man's a two-time undisputed champion. He's a 4-division champion. Tank Davis is a 2-division champion. Tank fanboys get mad when I say he's a 2-division champion. They like to call him a 3-division champion. I don't count regular belts, bro. I don't count them for anyone else. You're not going to catch me counting them for Tank Davis. So, with that being said, bro, Tank and Bud, you can't compare Tank to Bud when it comes to accomplishments. Where you can compare him to him, and where Bud Crawford pales in comparison, I should say, is he's nowhere near the star that Tank Davis is. If anything, Terence Crawford will be on the Tank Davis undercard before the other way around, bro. Tank Davis has sold out way more arenas, generated way more revenue, and done way more pay-per-views than Bud Crawford has ever done, right? In the year that they both had their biggest fights, Tank Davis doubled them up in pay-per-view buys. He sold $1.2 million with Ryan Garcia. Bud Crawford sold $650,000 with Earl Spence Jr., bro, in 2023. So I understand it. It's no bad. It's bad blood. It's no love lost between the two. I understand that Bud Crawford wants to, shit on Tank Davis right now. A lot of people feel like that's the low-hanging fruit, which I don't understand. It is what it is. Do your thing. But that just shows how great Tank Davis is, that he gets a draw. He has the first controversial fight of his career. Now everybody all of a sudden thinks he's so trash. I find that hilarious. You know what I mean? But whatever. But business-wise, shit don't make no sense. So anybody thinking that, anybody trying to give legs to that, shit crazy. Shit will not happen. Al Heyman is not that dumb. PBC is not that dumb. And Tank Davis, pride and ego. Bud Crawford is right about that. He said cocky, but it's pride and ego at this point in his career, with what he does in the sport of boxing and the star that he is. You're not about to get him to be on nobody's undercard, bro. Nobody's undercard. Every fight he has is a mega fight. It's a mega fight. Every fight he has. His rematch with Lamont Roach going crazy. He fights Shakur Stevenson going crazy. He fight Keyshawn Davis going crazy. Lomachenko, the numbers, they gonna go crazy. Simply because people will be believing in Loma. But the build up to Keyshawn and Shakur and Lamont Roach, this man, build up gonna be crazy. It's gonna be all aggression, no love lost, and then on fight night it's gonna be popping, bro. So this idea that a lot of people have, man, that somehow Tank gonna ever be on anybody undercard. I know he said this shit about David Benavidez a while back. I think he was just showing love to David. I don't really see him doing that. And even if he wanted to, his team that's around him is too good at their jobs to where they wouldn't let him make no dumbass move like that. Him going backwards, that ain't gonna happen. Leave that up to somebody like Shakur Stevenson to go from main event to undercard. Tank Davis went from undercard to main event to pay-per-view, and he ain't going back. Just letting you know that shit now. He is not going back. So, sounds good in theory, but that shit ain't never gonna happen. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment below, smash the like, sub up. I'll see y'all soon. Gervonta Tank Davis. Let Shakur Stevenson. Devin Haney know y'all ain't built like that, bro.